From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a major morning here on Mornings LALATE as breaking news coming in as gas prices could go higher this Sunday. All the latest details across the board and what you need to know in this economy. Plus, student loan debt forgiveness could go to the Supreme Court as early as this February. All the latest details across the board and what's happening today as well. Plus, we'll be looking at where this economy is and where it's going, and we have a lot of other major breaking details today. Jobs numbers released minutes ago. The big situation on DoorDash heating up as it came in lower than expected. All the breaking news of what you need to know across the board today. Plus, we'll be going into the latest details in this economy. And that other breaking details is the bond market surging left and right. Huge day. That's why you need to get all these incredible stimulus checks. $300,000 of stimulus checks. Massive stimulus, fast stimulus, being paid out in less than 2 days. Then 18 months of stimulus checks, and boy, what at issue is this money? 18 months of stimulus checks, 3 stimulus checks, 5 stimulus checks per month, and about $3,000. We'll have the huge details across the board. Plus, we'll be looking at why Sunday is such a critical day for this channel, because we will learn whether gas prices will surge higher based upon a massive meeting happening this Sunday. We'll be looking at those jobs numbers and why they were not particularly what we expected to see and why it's a very confusing economy. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, good morning. In this big 1-hour broadcast, we're going to go over these massive stimulus checks. $300,000, 18 months of stimulus checks, averaging out to viewers of this channel, getting them since the month of March. I'll show you how to get them. $3,000 of stimulus checks per month. It's a big day. It's a big broadcast. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. The coffee is brewing. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of money. We have a lot to go over in this breaking news today. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, let's get to it. Let's get to the breaking news starting right here, right now, this beautiful December 2022. And good morning, everybody. What a big day. The jobs numbers were released minutes ago. DoorDash and the bonds market surging. The breaking news on that front coming up in today's recording. Plus, later in this recording, we'll go over why gas prices could go higher because of a major event happening this Sunday, and brand new breaking news minutes ago for the Supreme Court with student loan debt forgiveness. Of course, massive stimulus available, $300,000 of stimulus checks, fast stimulus being paid out in less than 2 days. 18 months of stimulus checks. Those massive stimulus checks are paying 18 months of them, about $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, and about 5 stimulus checks per month over those 18 months. These and more breaking details heat up this broadcast, and we'll go over why the Federal Reserve is not going to be happy with the latest details that came in just minutes ago from that jobs number. It's a big day. It's a big broadcast, and I'm excited you're here. Happy weekend as we go into a brand new weekend. Hope you're having a beautiful day. The toast is toasting. The butter is buttering. Let's get to the breaking news right now. Massive stimulus checks have been obtained by viewers of this channel, and now they're paying out more than ever before. 18 months of stimulus checks, about $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, about 5 stimulus checks per month. I'm going to show you how this, over this 1-hour broadcast, how to get these incredible checks. Plus, we'll see the breaking news and why it impacts it so dramatically. And let's start with that breaking news minutes ago. Minutes ago, the jobs number report was released, and what did it say? Let's jump on that numbers right now. The November jobs number was released for non-farm payroll job creation, and it showed that the U.S. economy in the month of October had created 284,000 new jobs. Where were the number of jobs created in the month of November? In the month of November, we dropped to 263,000 in the new report released minutes ago. Fascinating. So in October, we created 284,000 new jobs. the month of November, released just minutes ago today, we only generated 263,000 new jobs. But here's the rub. Wall Street was expecting us to only create 200,000 jobs in the month of November. So this was a major beat. Wall Street, again, was looking for a drop from 284 to 200,000, but we came in at 263. So this was many more jobs created than we expected. Next, the unemployment rate, the jobless rate, actually really quite good. You and I all thought that the jobless rate, the unemployment rate, was going to surge higher because we've been watching those jobless claims every week on this channel, but it did not. It came in right on the money at 3.7%. This is fascinating. Among the data in this jobs report released minutes ago, also this, wage inflation. Salaries went up 5.1% compared to the prior year in the new numbers released minutes ago, much higher than expected. Wall Street is only expecting the wage inflation salaries to go up 4.6% year to date. Wow. I'll go over the impact of that in just a second. Where do those jobs come from? You know the answer to this one. Travel and leisure. Travel and leisure. It didn't come from lobster creation. It did not come from San Francisco hairstylists. They did not get a lot more jobs this month. No, it came from the latest on travel and leisure, which added a whopping more jobs across the board. 88,000 new jobs in travel and leisure in just 1 month. Where were jobs lost? Retail lost 30,000 jobs in the last month. That's not good. Construction added 20,000, information added 19,000, and manufacturing, which we actually showed yesterday on this channel, had a contraction, actually added jobs, 14,000. The Fed is tightening monetary policy, but somebody forgot to tell the labor market that. I love that quote. That's from Finch Reddy's chief economist, Brian Colton. He's basically saying the labor market is really on fire in this report. It's a very strong labor market, stronger than expected, and the Federal Reserve is not going to be happy. More about that in just a second. But the job expansion, the speed, will do nothing to ease the labor supply demand and the imbalance for the Federal Reserve. Wow. Huge details across the board. Why is this so critical? It's critical because the Federal Reserve is trying to get inflation down. And by getting inflation down, they're worried about disrupting the labor market because the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate. Maximum employment and maximum price stability means no inflation and maximum employment, everyone having a job. Well, here you go. The unemployment rate did not grow. It stayed stable. Job creation was better than expected, and yet the inflation got worse. Wage inflation, seen in this number right today, nearly up 1% in just 1 month. And this is not good. That means the Federal Reserve is going to come in more aggressively than initially thought. Wall Street was down on this news. This is not good news if you're trying to hope the Federal Reserve is going to ease the brakes on those interest rate spikes. And ultimately, this is really why you have to get all these incredible stimulus checks. We'll go over those stimulus checks in just a second. The second breaking story we're going over today is, of course, DoorDash. DoorDash was dashed in a new report out today that downgraded the company. Of course, this is a food delivery company. And we have learned very clearly in the last 24 hours that the best indication of where this economy is corporate earnings. And DoorDash is down 3% today alone after RBC Capital Markets downgraded DoorDash, which competes against Uber Eats, from outperform to sector perform because they think the stock is overvalued in this current market. Wow. This comes as Asana, which is a platform operator, also came in lower than expected. Latest details across the board. The bond market is surging. Okay, you know exactly why. This is critical, and this is your wallet. If you have any type of debt, credit card debt, car loan debt, mortgage, this is not good news. The bond market is straight up today. Why? You know exactly why. Because this jobs number shows the Federal Reserve needs to come in more aggressively because there's more inflation than initially thought because the wage inflation went higher in this jobs number. And the Federal Reserve can do it because the unemployment did not get worse. That's why the bond market is up dramatically right now. The 10-year Treasury note is jumping up 8 points right now to 3.64. This means that all that credit card debt, that car loan, that mortgage rates are going to go higher. Bonds go up when they believe the Federal Reserve is going to come in more aggressively. And this is why you need to get these stimulus checks. Let's look at these incredible stimulus checks. These incredible stimulus checks were passed in the month of March and have been featured on this channel ever since, and they're huge. Let's look at those numbers right now. $300,000 of stimulus checks that pay out fast in about 2 days for some viewers. And there's 18 months of stimulus checks. 18 months of stimulus checks. Over this 1 hour broadcast, I'm going to go over all these incredible stimulus checks with you one at a time so you understand how to get them. Let's first go over the amount of the checks so you understand how delicious they really are. 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 a month in stimulus checks, with about 5 checks of stimulus checks per month. This is incredible, and these are huge. We're going to go over those in just a second. Moreover, what's important to note is that this is December. January is just around the corner. And in February this year, I was the only American broadcaster to record the U.S. economy would be going into recession, and the real heart of it starting in January next year. That January is around the corner. All analysts now agree the recession really hurts starting in January. So you need big checks. A $600 check is not going to get you through a recession. It's going to be a 2-year recession. You need tens of thousands of dollars. So over this broadcast, stay with me as I explain to you how to get these tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks. And here today is a brand new success story. You've met Lynn Glenn on this channel in recent months. Well, she has already gotten 26 checks for herself. Now she got a family member 12 more stimulus checks as well. Lynn Glenn has already gotten 26 or 27 stimulus checks. What has she gotten? She has gotten 14 stimulus checks, 14 months of utilities stimulus checks paid to her. That's potentially even more than 14 checks because you have multiple utility bills per month. But let's just call it 14 stimulus checks just to make it easier. Then she's also gotten 12 months of rent checks. That's 12 stimulus checks for that. That's at least 26 stimulus checks. Folks, that's a lot of money. That's thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, today she has a brand new success story for you. It's not her, but it's a family member. She watched this channel, Lynn Glenn, and she taught that family member how to do it. And the family member has now gotten 12 months of utilities. Wow. Congratulations to the Purple Power Spirit in Lynn Glenn and that family member who listened and learned from Lynn Glenn, who listened and learned from this channel. Over this broadcast, I'm going to show you how to get these incredible checks. What you do is you go under this video, become a member, join this channel, and stay over this broadcast as we go over these incredible checks. There are 3 categories of checks. The first ones are federal stimulus checks. These are from the federal government. What is the federal government? So there's 2 different governments in your livelihood. There is your city and your county and your state in the one hand, and then there's the federal government. That's the people in Washington, D.C., the Congress, the president. Your city, county, and state has this amount of money, or zero, because a lot of cities and counties and states are going bankrupt or in big financial trouble. Federal government has this amount of money. So that's why on this channel, I don't feature money for city, counties, and states because they don't have much money. I feature the federal government stimulus. They have lots of it. And that's where we are. In February, when I recorded the U.S. economy would go into recession, this viewership of this channel immediately said, LLA, if you're right, give me some darn stimulus checks right away. They've listened and learned to always move ahead of the ball game. Don't wait till your back is against the wall. And as soon as Joe Biden passed a series of executive actions in March, that night, I featured those stimulus checks on this channel. Viewers of this channel have already gotten these stimulus checks. What you're watching right now is LALATE, #1 for this financial news story in the United States, and #3 overall for all financial news. You're not going to see this in your county, city, or state local news. They're not going to cover this. They don't care about it. They don't research. They don't ever care about your livelihood. I do. And my viewers have been getting them ever since. I'm glad you found this channel, and over this broadcast, I'm going to show you how to get these tens of thousands of dollars. This recession is going to be 2 years. I predicted in February. It's now actually a correct prediction. It's going to be unlike any other recession because this recession is going to impact everyone of all walks of life. That's why you need thousands and tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks, not $600 stimulus checks. So today, immediately stop listening or paying attention to anything that talks about $100 or $1,200 or $2,000 stimulus checks. That ain't going to help you survive a 2-year recession. You need thousands and thousands of dollars, and that is why Lynn Glenn's story is such a great story. She told that family member, there's a recession coming. It's going to be 2 years. You need a lot of checks. Let me show you how to do this. That's what Lynn Glenn did. This week, she reveals to me just today, she helped that family member get 12 months of stimulus checks. That's a big, big payout. That's exactly how you do. We'll go over this in just a second. Let's go back into the breaking news right now. So the other breaking news stories we're dealing with right now is that those corporate earnings are really not doing well. And the best indication of how bad the market, how bad the economy is the corporate earnings. DoorDash, which competes with Uber Eats, downgraded today by that one company. The jobs market is showing that the labor market's stronger than expected and the inflation is higher than expected. What does that mean for J. Powell and Company? You know exactly what that means. That means that J. Powell and Company is going to say, we need to stay course. If the salaries are suffering inflation because the salaries are going up in this month of November, compared to the month of October, J. Powell needs to come in more aggressively or stay course as aggressively. Number one. Number two, if the labor is holding up, that the unemployment rate did not grow at all compared to the prior month, that people are still employed, then J. Powell will stay course. This is an ingredient for confusion. And ultimately, the way you err on caution is you get as much stimulus as possible. Now, there's two other major stories that are breaking news today as well, and we're going to go over them later in this broadcast. They are gas prices, and they are student loan debt forgiveness. First, this Sunday, you need to watch LALATE live on air. Why? Because on Sunday, we're going to learn what happens at that OPEC Plus meeting. OPEC Plus is a consortium of oil-producing countries led by Saudi Arabia and Russia, and they will meet and decide how much oil they're going to pump. And they are going to pump less oil to bring the price of gasoline higher for you at the pump. I know, it's not good news. I'm going to explain to you where they're going to cut, how much they're going to cut, and how much more your gas price is going to go up. That's coming up later in this broadcast. Also, breaking news minutes ago. Student loan debt forgiveness has been passed by Joseph Biden by executive action. Then it was halted by the lower courts in the United States. Minutes ago, the Supreme Court has said, we will hear the dispute in February. Bring us the dispute in February. It's a breaking news story on that student loan debt forgiveness. We'll go over that in just a second. But let's get some stimulus checks. Let's get some stimulus checks right now. Remember, these stimulus checks are fast money, paid out in about 2 days for some viewers. 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 a month, 5 checks per month. Let's look at these big FSC stimulus checks. They're federal, and they are a lot of money. Santa stimulus, holiday stimulus, check A is the first check. $6,500 to $12,000, a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Check B is a lot of money, upwards of $80,000. Check C is the third. Let's understand where these checks came from by taking it back to Joseph Biden in the month of March. In the month of March, when viewers asked me to find them checks, that day, Joseph Biden actually passed executive actions. And as soon as he did, that night, I featured the details on this channel. Let's look at those incredible checks right now. Those incredible checks were passed by Joseph Biden in the month of March. And how much money is it? It's a lot of money. It is $100,000 in the first 3 checks, A, B, C alone. Again, passed by executive action, Joseph Biden in the month of March. They're for you. Viewers have got them ever since the month of March. And because they're for federal stimulus, they're for everyone. Single individual, $75,000 less annual income, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, go get them. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, go get them. These are tens of thousands of dollars, and you qualify. Don't wait not to get this money because you need it, and the hurt of the recession is just around the corner. But later in this recording, then we'll be getting more checks because Congress came around and passed more checks, E through K, bringing us hundreds of checks. And they are all in the LA newsletter. How do you get these incredible checks? You go right in this video, join the channel, and get that LA newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. In that LA newsletter, I detail all these incredible checks one at a time for you. You get that newsletter from the YouTube alerts Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, across the board. Let's jump into these first three checks right now, and they are check A, B, and C. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And Spelly got this incredible check, and Kimberly Romano did as well. We'll meet Kimberly Romano in just a second. How do you get it? You go under this video, join the channel. Welcome to the nearly 100 brand new members who joined this channel in the last 24 hours. You do the same because big money is available right now and you're going to need it. Go down the membership newsletter, check A, click the link and go right and apply and get that $12,000 check A, $6,500 to $12,000. Check B is a next check you're going to apply for in the membership newsletter. It's $15,000 to $80,000. And this is a huge amount of money. The check B success stories on this channel have been all the same in recent days. Frank Mancuso, you're going to meet at 3 o'clock today on Afternoons LA. Make sure you watch it. It's a brand new show today at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Frank Mancuso got 18 months of checks. Kimberly Romano this last week got 18 months of stimulus checks. Another viewer at Florida got 18 months of stimulus checks. It's happening all the time. That's why we had that graphic early in the video. 18 months of check B. How many checks are they getting in those 18 months? They're averaging about 5 checks per month. Why? Because they're getting all their utilities and either their rent or their mortgage, whether they rent or they own. And that's adding up to about $3,000, some cases even $5,000. That's big money. Happened with Kimberly Romano, who also got $4,000 of her property taxes on top of that. And she got check A, which we just went over. That brought her to nearly $50,000. Another viewer out of Florida, she got the 18 months of checks, but she got a lot of money each month. So she's at nearly $100,000. That check B is a great check. And that's why you want to become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Join this channel. And go right down to check B and click the link in the membership newsletter and apply it right away. You're not done there yet. Go get some check C. Check C is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And you deserve these sums of money. And viewers have gotten these sums of money since this channel launched. This channel has gotten people $50 million. Let's look at these incredible numbers from check C. Do you want $30,000 of rent? You do. So go into this video, join the channel, and get some check C. Do you want $15,000 of utilities? You do. So go on this video, join the channel, and get those great numbers for utilities. Here's Mark, $6,500 for utilities. Well, his brother-in-law got $15,000. Same brother-in-law, $250,000 over 10 years for SNAP. And there's Mark, $32,000 initially, but I told him to go get more money, and guess what he did? He brought it to $50,000, then he went to $100,000, then he went to $166,000 of stimulus checks. Here is Nisi. She was at $23,000 of stimulus checks. She went to $50,000 of stimulus checks. And here's Lorraine. She was at $105,000 of stimulus checks. Where did she go on that? She went to $155,000 of stimulus checks. What do you need to do? Step 1, go into this video, subscribe. Go into this video, hit the bell so you have all notifications set to all on. And go into the video, join the channel. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. The data that came out today in those very first numbers from the Federal Reserve signals how severe this economy could be in less than 30 days from now. Because guess what? Good news is sometimes bad news. Those job numbers showed people still have their jobs. It showed that unemployment did not get worse. It showed that the people actually got paid more than the prior month. That all means that Jay Powell can come in more aggressively with those interest rate spikes. And as Jay Powell comes in more aggressively, you need to get stimulus because it's going to cost more to live. Credit card debt, any type of debt, is going to get more expensive in less than 30 days. That's why you need to move really quickly across the board. In the big second half, we're going to continue with these big stimulus checks, and they are lots of them. Checks E through K, they're coming up in just a second. But let's go into the other two breaking news stories we're looking at right today. Number one, gas prices, and number two, student loan debt forgiveness. Now, this Sunday, it is so important you watch this channel because what happens on Sunday, it is one of the most important announcements of the week. And what is that announcement? The announcement on how much gasoline will be pumped out of the ground by a consortium of oil-producing countries called OPEC Plus. OPEC Plus includes Saudi Arabia and Russia. The way gasoline works is the less gasoline that's pumped, the higher the price. The more gasoline the pump, the lower the price. Last time we featured these gas pumping details out of OPEC Plus, all the predictions were wrong. It's very hard to predict what people in Saudi Arabia are going to do. We're not there, we're here. At the time, we thought they were going to cut pumping by a certain amount. It was undervalued by a lot. And they cut pumping by 2 million barrels per day. That's why gas prices rose dramatically. Right today, the analysis or the predictions are that OPEC Plus this Sunday will cut pumping by 500,000, otherwise known as 500,000 barrels a day. But again, that may be totally undervaluing it. They may cut by 1 million, maybe 2 million. We really don't know. What we do know, and this is very scary, is that the current price of gasoline internationally is reportedly too low for OPEC Plus's standards. They don't like it that cheap. Where's that price? The cheapest of this channel since early February this year. Gasoline was $110 a barrel when Putin invaded Ukraine. It is currently $83. So the reports out today, and this is all breaking news, says that OPEC Plus is furious that gasoline is so cheap at $83 a barrel. They want it at least over 90. Over 90 is very significant, which means they would have to cut a lot of production of gasoline. They want you to be paying a lot more for gasoline at the pump. Yeah, they're not your friend. OPEC Plus is reporting to consider a cut based upon the demand weakness. But China's really not a factor because the thought that people may drive less because of Omicron in China is not really an issue. In October, OPEC Plus cut production by pumping by 2 million barrels, but capital markets head at RBC, Halima Croft, in a statement obtained by LALATE News minutes ago, says there could be a significant chance of a very massive cut this Sunday. And it's just really hard to predict. Some of the traders believe that OPEC Plus does not like this price of gasoline at the current level. It's too cheap. And that includes Tamas Varga, who's an analyst broker at PVV Oil Associates, in a note obtained by LALATE News minutes ago, that reportedly anything under $90 a barrel is just too cheap and not acceptable to OPEC Plus. Takeaway is they're going to cut production of gasoline. Gasoline price is going to go higher. Gasoline price is going to go higher. It's going to cost more to live. That's why I have to get all these incredible stimulus checks. The other breaking story that we're dealing with this morning is student loan debt forgiveness. This also happened just minutes ago. Folks, there's a lot of major breaking news on this channel. This is why you watch LA. This is America's #3 most watched financial news channel overall. Student loan debt forgiveness got a major announcement minutes ago. What is it? Let me tell you the history of student loan debt forgiveness. Joe Biden had initially forgiven $20,000 in student loan debts per student or former student earlier this year. Then we continue with those FSC checks because there's a lot of them. And those incredible FSC checks bring us to $300,000 of checks, 300 different checks, and the big second half. Then we'll go over where this economy is and where it's going and why it's important to get these stimulus checks. And we'll get a preview of what's happening up later in this recording in today's shows. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Mornings LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
Anytime. Anytime continues in the exact second half as morning LA heats up. And the audio heats up as well. In the exact second half, we'll be going over more of these incredible stimulus checks and how to get these big sums of money. We'll be looking at the latest details from unemployment and more. It's a big show, and we have a lot to go over. Meantime, if you're watching our brand new show, Stimulus Live, let's take a look at that again. And what about our other show? What a week it is. And that worked beautifully. Didn't it work beautifully? If you notice what I did, then great. You caught my little trickery there. In this big second half, we continue with these incredible stimulus checks. Lots of checks, and they are the ones passed by Congress, and they are checks E through K. Let's get some more stimulus. Check E is a $7,500 stimulus check. Beautiful. Check F is a $4,000 stimulus check. Insane. How do you get these stimulus checks? You go onto this channel, become a member, and they're all in the membership newsletter. Welcome to the nearly 100 new members joining the last 2 days. Check E, 30% off. Check H, a $2,000 stimulus check. Then check I is a beautiful $8,000 stimulus check. Check J, $8,000. Check K, $14,000. Huge. Then let's jump over to those other checks. L, $100,000 of beautiful loan interest-free brand new mortgage. M, $4,000 of stimulus money, all yours to keep. It's grant. Then we go to Stimulus N, brand new computer, brand new tablet, brand new laptop. Stimulus O, zero down payment, zero closing costs, brand new mortgage. And then we go to P and Q. P is 3% down, and Q is $8,000 of free closing costs. The totality of the stimulus checks, let's look at them right now. So the totality of these stimulus checks are just incredible. They are federal stimulus checks, FSCs. That means it comes from the federal government. They administer it. It's their money. Number one. Number two, they're about $300,000. Number two, fast payout. They're paying out in about 2 days for some viewers. Johnny started on Monday. By Wednesday, he had a whopping $45,000. Then he helped his mom and dad. The next week, each get $50,000. By that Friday, I should repeat, he also continued. He got 15 applications in, half approved, half rejected. He got $80,000. It's currently paying out at about 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 a month of stimulus checks, 5 stimulus checks per month. And we have a lot of different incredible checks. We have checks for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. We have checks for the home repairs, the home appliances, the car, the computer, the internet, and more. It's just absolutely incredible. You want to get all these incredible stimulus checks. Now, in addition to those stimulus checks, lifetime stimulus is a reality, is happening. Your benefits are going up more. And how much are they going up? You're going to have 4 raises. The first raise you already got, 5.9%. Number 2 is next year, 8.7%. Then the year after that, another raise. And the year after that, another raise. Why? Because J. Powell and Company says there's going to be 2 more years of inflation. These raises are on top of each other, so you continue to get raise on top of raise. So by 2024, you have the largest check of a generation, and it'll cost the cheapest to live of a generation because the price of goods will come down by 2024. It's incredible, great news. The final thing is inflation relief stimulus checks. And those come from your states. And those incredible inflation relief stimulus checks are beautiful, but they're not a lot of money. That's why I call them icing on the cake. $1,000 in the membership newsletter, down to check D from the states, track them across the board, but don't rely on them. And with that, let's go into the breaking news, back into the breaking news right now. So what do we see with these 5 news stories right today? We see a lot, and it's not particularly what we thought we were going to see. Number 1, we see that people are not losing their jobs, potentially as big as that data yesterday. Remember yesterday we had Mr. Christmas, that's his name, saying that the number of job firings has grown by 400%, but the unemployment rate has not really changed in the latest jobs number. Number 2, the people are being paid more money than even just 30 days ago. That's wage inflation, and Jay Powell doesn't like that. He doesn't want any inflation, and that's why Jay Powell is going to come in more aggressively. DoorDash is the food delivery company like Uber Eats, is seeing a downgrade today because the concern is that it's just not going to make the type of money that it once thought it was. Ultimately, weakness in this economy manifests itself first in weakness in businesses. And then finally, the bond market. The bond market is surging up because they believe the Federal Reserve is going to come in more aggressively. Federal Reserve is going to raise rates. That means bonds are going up. Gas could be going up or will be going up. The question is how much. And we learn that this Sunday when we learn the output production guidance from OPEC Plus as a result of their meeting this Sunday. And then student loan debt forgiveness will finally have a finality of that coming this February when the federal government takes their oral arguments to the Supreme Court. Now, here's what you need to know. U.S. economy will suffer recession in a real hurt mode starting 30 days from now. It's just 4 weeks from now. And that recession will be 2 years, 2023 and 2024. To survive a 2-year recession, a $600 stimulus check, a $1,200 stimulus check, a $2,000 stimulus check ain't gonna cut it for even a month. That's why you need tens of thousands of dollars. You need massive amount of money to survive a 2-year recession. This 2-year recession will be unlike any recession you've seen in the generation. Why? Because the prior recessions only hurt certain parts of the economy. This recession is going to hurt everyone, all walks of life. So what do? You go under this video, you join the channel, you become a member, you go down and apply for checks in that newsletter from me to you, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central. You apply for checks tonight, this weekend, around the clock, because this recession and the hurt is just 30 days away. You're not going to do this, but other people will. They're going to wait until after the hurt starts. And all they're waiting is not going to help them. All they're thinking about an automatic $200 stimulus check ain't going to help them, because $200 ain't going to help anyone for a 2-year recession. And ultimately, the great news is evidence with Lynn Glenn and her success story today is that the money is still available. Lynn Glenn, who had recently taken it from 5 months of rent for herself to 12 months of rent, and recently, I mean in the last 2 weeks, has now turned around and helped a family member get 12 months of utilities in the last 24 hours. It's still there. What you need to do is pounce like a purple hawk. Do it right away. And the programming continues throughout the day on this channel. Noontime will air a little bit later today at about 11:30, about 30 minutes later. Then we go into afternoons at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock is a brand new afternoon show. Then Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. Last night, you enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun. LA Late Night had its official debut as a brand new show, at least now and then, at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It was on set here, but with a different look. And it's a lot of fun. It's a question and answer show. It's free format. Anyone can jump in the live chat and ask any question around, and I will answer it. Watch for that show on this channel every night as well. Go into this video, become a member. That toast is toast, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. I'll see you back in about an hour as Holidays LA, 11 o'clock edition, noontime.